Welcome to another edition of HBCU Sports Live. I'm Kendrick Marshall. That's Chris Stevens. And today we have a special guest with us. You know who he is. He's the Celebration Bowl MVP from last year, from the defending, reigning Black College National Champion, Florida A&M Rattlers. Kelvin Dean Jr. is going to stop by. He's going to be the first guest on what we hope to be a successful series of interviews we're going to do this spring and this summer, where we're going to check in on different Black college football programs around the country to kind of get the inside look on like how they're going so far in the spring and kind of like their outlook for the regular season. When I'm talking to players like Kelvin, beat writers, anybody in the space who follows these teams very closely. So stay tuned for that. But Kelvin, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And first question out the gate for me is, how was spring ball under James Colzie?
It was pretty good. It was a little adjustment knowing it's a defensive-minded coach, but it wasn't bad at all. We learned a lot. I got a lot closer to some of the other coaches, had to develop some more relationships and get closer as a team. So I think all in all, it was a pretty good spring. It was productive. We got some old players hopefully coming in and stuff. It was a lot with players leaving and stuff to deal with. So, but we adjusted well. I think spring went pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. All the drama happened in off season with you guys trying to find a coach after Willie Simmons left, and you guys got Colzie in there now. How was practice? Been under him. How is he kind of different than what you guys were used to under Willie Simmons?
It's just different not being around by your coach a lot. Simmons called more of the plays, while Joe Henry was with the O-line. So it's a lot different in those terms. He was more on the defensive side of the ball, coaching those guys, and also he was a corners coach. So he was with that position, Also, he walked around, as coaches do. He was in every position group, checking in, checking out. But he's a primarily defensive head coach. So it was just a lot different not being around the head coach as much.
All right, cool. My last thing before I let Chris jump in. You guys are going to come into the season as the Hunters instead of being the other way around. Coming off a championship season, how does it feel going into camp knowing you guys are a target now?
I'm gonna be honest. We had the same target last year, man. We can't fold under pressure. We just gotta come with it and come to work 10 times harder each day. Because at the end of the day, we know we're gonna get our best from each team we play. Got a couple big games this season that'll prepare us for the rest of the season. We got a couple big time games. So we come out, look good in those. I think we'll be pretty good. We just got to put all the pieces together and make it work.
I believe Kendrick froze. So yeah. Kendrick froze up on his internet. So I'll ask a couple questions, Kelvin. First and foremost, how have you guys been able to, block out the noise, as it were, with everything, surrounding the coaching search, the board of trustees getting involved? Just how are you guys as football players and student athletes able to just focus on getting ready for spring ball, whoever the head coach was going to be?
All we had to do was just stay close as brothers, regardless of what happened. We knew who we wanted to be our coach. So as long as we stayed close and, kept the bond, ain't really fall out with each other. We just kind of stayed close, ran routes together, always just kind of did stuff to keep us close. And we talked about it. We took everybody's opinion. We made sure everybody's word mattered. So when it came down to the decision, nobody really had any doubts about it.
And just going back to last year, it was obviously a dream season for you guys, undefeated in the SWAC, winning the conference championship, beating Howard in the Celebration Bowl. Just how much time have you guys spent kind of like, obviously you got to look forward because now there's that target on your back, as Kendrick mentioned, but how much time have you guys spent just talking about, the greatness of how last season went and how you guys want to try to replicate that coming up this fall?
I mean, you got to have a short-term memory when it comes to stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not really too much dawning on the past. Like, that's over with. It's all about who we are now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to move forward. Like, it was a good little championship run, but it's a lot of those guys that aren't here. So we just we kind of focusing on building with what we got.
And speaking of building, it seems like, it's an arms race around the SWAC. Everybody's trying to, hit the portal, get kids, get players to kind of measure up to you guys. Do you guys pay attention to anybody else's what's going on around the conference, or is it just, tunnel vision you guys are focused on what Florida A&M is doing?
It's really a us versus us mentality, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you can't really worry about what's going on with the outside folks. We just gotta focus on us. At the end of the day, we gotta get 1% better from within. Like all the outside, it'll work itself out. The closest team and the most prepared team is gonna win when it comes down to it.
Yeah, for me, like Chris talking about the portal and what have you, like Florida A&M, every team is going to be different from one year to the next, but Florida A&M has to have some losses to the transfer portal, some really important pieces from the championship team last year. I know General Hunt went to the portal, Anthony Dunn, Lovey Jenkins, guys of that nature going into the portal. Plus, you guys lost Jamie Musa to graduation. So a lot of change has gone on with Florida A&M since you guys last played a football game. Are you guys concerned about your depth? How has the team been able to, I guess, like handle those missing pieces so far in the spring?
I mean, when you really think about it, this is kind of a normal thing when it comes to this college football landscape nowadays. People even try to get their opportunity to get money just like coaches. Like it's just the same thing. The players can now do that. So I mean, I respect them. Them boys going to get their bag. You know what I'm saying? But it's also people that's willing to come play for us at the same time. So, I mean, we congratulate them for leaving if they want to come back. But it just is what it is when it comes to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you on that one. So you feel like you guys won't miss a beat, despite the fact you guys been affected by the portal at all?
I'm not saying those guys that we lost didn't matter. But like at the end of the day, it's a business. So like you gotta come prepared to replace whatever you're gonna lose. Just like we replaced the head coach, we gotta replace certain players that we lost. I mean, we lost Musa. We knew we would have to replace a quarterback. So I mean, it happens. It's football. People come and go.
All right, Chris, anything from you?
Yeah, just going back to that point you mentioned about things being, the business nature of it now. Just how have you guys been able to adjust to that? We've got so much going on. Obviously, this week the NCAA said they approved a legislation that you don't have to sit out anymore if you transfer. Like overall, you said you had to sit out a year. Now you don't have to sit out. Now there's the NIL stuff coming down the pike. Just how are you guys as student athletes able to like juggle all of this? Going to class, going to practice, playing games. And then, for those who have the NIL stuff, just how are you guys able to juggle all of
that? I mean, you get used to it. It's mandatory. It's just stuff that you got to do. This like a job. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you have to do every day. So once you get into your schedule, it's not too hard. With the NIL stuff, I mean, certain people have it, certain people don't. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to control that and make time in your schedule if you want to get certain opportunities like that.
Yeah, I know. Like it's just kind of hard, like with the way the transport portal is set up and the way NIL set up, not to be tempted to want to leave and go somewhere else where you think the grass is somewhat greener on the other side. But like, why do you think so many guys, at least coming into camp this year, are like so committed to Florida A&M and so willing and wanting to make this all work?
I mean, the environment, the fans, they love us to death. I mean, we're trusting in them. They got some big things coming for us soon. I mean, we trusted the coaches. They trusted us enough to go with who we wanted as a coach. So, I mean, we only owe it to the fans and to the coaches, to the community. to come back and try to run this thing back for them. All the players that's gonna remain loyal. You know what I'm saying? I know loyalty is usually rewarded.
Yeah, true that. Florida A&M is everyone knows who's watching and listening. Like they got one of the most passionate fan bases in all of college sports, not just for football, but for like every sport university. They really come out and sort of support for it. How are the boys looking in spring? I know we mentioned like a lot of change from last year to this year, but I know the spring game, the defense really kind of showed up and showed out. Got a little bit better of the offense on that from that standpoint, but from an offensive standpoint, like how you guys looking right now?
I think we looking good. You know, we working. We working. We working. That's all I'm gonna say. I think the offense looks really good, especially coming in with a new OC that we just got. You know what I'm saying? The playbook, all the plays is pretty smooth. So I think we gonna look pretty exciting. I think it'll be a pretty exciting offense.
Yeah, I know Junior played pretty well in the spring game. So did Florida Atlantic transfer Daniel Richardson. He also played really well in the spring game too. Any sense of who might be the starting quarterback when you guys break camp in the fall?
I'm not sure. I mean, all of them boys played good. I'm just gonna leave that up to the coaches. You know, all them boys played good. I respect all of them. You know, I enjoyed taking handoffs from all of them. So, I mean, we'll see come fall.
Cool. Chris, anything else?
No, I'm pretty much good on questions.
All right, cool. The last thing for me, and thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it. As I mentioned before, like you guys gonna have a target on your back. Likely gonna be once again favorite to win the SWAC East and go to the Celebration Bowl again. What's it gonna take for you guys to go back to Atlanta this year? I know the journey's gonna be a little bit more difficult. You're gonna have a new cast of characters, but how are you guys gonna get from point A to point B?
We need everybody that's on board to get on board and be all the way in. If you in, you feel me, you got to be all the way in. We just want everybody that's with us to just give us their best every day. If we come with it every day and work harder than the next man, I think we'll be just fine.
All right. And that's Kelvin Dean Jr., running back for Florida A&M, the defending, reigning Black College National Champions. Kelvin, we wish your football team luck this coming fall. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelvin seems pretty confident that Florida A&M is gonna not miss a beat, despite the fact they got a new coach, despite the fact they had a change over in the roster. So, Chris, like, do you think Florida A&M still going to be the favorite coming into the SWAC this season?
I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. I mean, yes, everyone around the conference is getting better. Alabama A&M, they probably visited Dr. King's old church a time or two to thank God that Andrew Body, excuse me, is now the starting quarterback down there. This is a make or break year for Alabama A&M, as we've discussed previously. Bethune-Cookman looks better. Jackson State has a year with T.C. Taylor under their belt. There's so many interesting moving parts out west as well. I mean, the Alcorn Texas Southern coaches situation. I mean, everybody except for Mississippi Valley State and Arkansas Pine Bluff in the West changed coaches. So that should tell you a little bit about how much intrigue is going to go into that Western Division race next year. I don't know if it's going to be another 6-5 team, but it's definitely going to be bunched together as it was last year. Last season. I think that Florida. I would still say Florida A&M right now is the prohibitive favorite. I mean, I won't say definitive, but the prohibitive favorite. Like provided all their cast of characters, as you said, come together. They got the coach they wanted. They Kelvin talked up the new offensive coordinator, and that Florida A&M offense was pretty doggone dynamite last year. But if he's bringing a new offense that can make them even better, they're going to be a tough out. So I still think that for now we can say that Florida A&M is the favorite to win the SWAC once again.
Yeah, just like reading some of the reports that are coming out about how spring's been going, the defense still is still pretty good. I know it's spring ball and I know it's early, but from all reports I've been reading the Tallahassee Democrat, the great work that Gerald Thomas, who covered the team, been doing down there for that paper, he's been documenting it. And spring game, I think they had like 5 interceptions. The defense did 3 off Daniel Richardson alone. And they seem like not missing a beat. from last season. So if the defense can play the way they played these last few years, maybe not be the best defense in the FCS like they were in 2023, but be something similar to that, I think there's no reason why Florida A&M shouldn't be favored in this SWAC. Me personally, I think Jackson State is probably going to be up there with them too to compete for their SWAC East title. But I think going into SWAC Media Day coming up in July, I think Florida A&M is definitely going to be once again the team to beat coming out of the East. You see anybody challenging them at all for the SWAC title? Maybe in the East, maybe not so much in the East, but maybe out West.
If I had to pick one team from each division, I'm gonna go with Alabama State. I still like their defense, and now that they have a proven quarterback, provided his health is in order, because I know Andrew missed a ton of time last year. I think he played 2 games. So if he's healthy, then Alabama State has a top-ranked quarterback, something they have been missing for a couple of generations. Well, whenever God rest his soul, Tavares Jackson was there. So that's been a pretty long time. So yeah, he's probably their best quarterback since Tavares Jackson. So I feel like this is Alabama State's shot. Out West, I think I'm gonna stick with Prairie View. Bo McDowell's built a nice bit of continuity with that program. They have the experience of winning the division. They went to Tallahassee, didn't go very well, but they still got the chance to go, and that should probably be sufficient motivation for that team moving forward. So yeah, if I had to pick one team from each division, I still am going to go with Alabama State to challenge Florida A&M. And if Florida A&M gets to the SWAC championship game, I think it'll be Prairie View again.
Yeah, I got Edwin Moore mentioned that Bethune-Cookman in the East is one of the teams that could be a tough out coming up this fall. I mean, like, look at the work that they've done in recruiting so far, and they could be a sleeper. I mean, like, they didn't fare well last year, but if they can get some recruits down there, I think they probably could make a run, maybe at the second place, third place, if all things break well. if all things break well, maybe even more. But yeah, like the SWAC East is definitely going to be tough this year. Is it always tough? The SWAC West is always unpredictable, as we've seen, especially with all the coaching changes that took place the last couple of years. So the SWAC is going to be definitely exciting, and like we probably won't know, like we did last year, who's going to come out on top until the very end of that one. And I know Stephen Campbell in the chat mentioned Alcorn folks are going to kill you for the pronouncement. I got to put this on the screen so everybody can see.
Did I say Alcorn? I guess I said Alcorn. I'm from the Mid Atlantic.
Yeah, he's a MEAC guy. He's a MEAC guy.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm from Delaware. I mean, I can't even say the Philadelphia area, but I'll just say I'm from Delaware. I'm from the Mid Atlantic. I'm not used to saying Alcorn. Like if you ask me to pronounce the town where McNeese State is, I would butcher that all day long. So I'm not even gonna try. So, but yeah, we gonna get these pronunciations down for sure.
Yeah, we got a couple of months to work on them. That's for sure. Yeah, the people down in Lower Mississippi, they want their school's name pronounced correctly, Chris. Remember that.
Put some respect on it. Absolutely.
Let's definitely put some respect on their name. Yeah, to shift gears a little bit here. We're gonna go completely off the board. Last week, Tennessee State, and they've been in the news a lot lately. Tennessee State, they hired a hockey coach, the first ever hockey coach ever at an HBCU, Duante Abercrombie. I hope I said that right. Speaking
Abercrombie and Fitz. Always remember
Abercrombie names. Yeah, Duante Abercrombie. He will lead the Tennessee State hockey program. I think they're going to get started in 2025. This past winter, they signed their first ever recruit. A little background on their new head coach. Actually, he was a Hampton graduate who was a sprinter, and then he turned to hockey. And come to find out, he's good at hockey. So he played a little pro hockey, not the NHL level, but he did work with several NHL teams, including the Toronto Maple Leafs, the San Jose Sharks, the Boston Bruins, the Washington Capitals, just to name a few. He was actually a member of the Washington Capitals Black Hockey Committee, and and he helped create a program to help attract Black hockey players of color. So this is a guy that seems to be tailor made for this position. First time ever, HBCU is going to have a hockey team, and he's going to be leading it. So, Chris, what do you think of Tennessee State hiring a hockey coach, and kind of like what it means for like just Black college in general to make history in this way?
Well, as the unofficial hockey correspondent for HBCU Sports now, I'm actually getting ready to watch the game 2 of the Colorado Avalanche series, and I really hope they don't embarrass themselves again tonight. But I think to have a coach who is just as ground floor, I mean, granted, he's got the experience, but he's just as ground floor to this as Tennessee State is. And you get a guy who not only knows HBCU culture, he went to Hampton, but he's worked, to build a rapport and build a foundation for hockey players of color. I mean, when you think about the cities you named, I mean, San Jose's in the Bay Area, a lot of Black folk there. There's a lot of Black folk in Boston. There's a nice Afro-Caribbean population in Toronto. And of course, DC, it don't get no blacker than Chocolate City. So he knows how to find athletes and kids who are interested in hockey. And once again, as I said before, when we first found out that Tennessee State was going to be starting men's and women's hockey, it's very important that the National Hockey League team in town gets with Tennessee State to build this program up correctly. Because if the Nashville Predators get on board, I mean, they had PK Subban, one of the best African Canadian players, of his generation on the squad, before he retired. So they have experience with Black hockey players. So if the Predators get on board and help Tennessee State build this thing up correctly, then it's going to be interesting. As far as different sports across the board, I've written about Virginia State starting a lacrosse program. I just did a Morehouse golf feature. We're going to see now that HBCUs have always been diverse in the kind of Black kids that we attract, and it's gonna be really awesome now for Black kids to say that, oh God, I play golf, I play lacrosse, I play soccer, and I want to go to an HBCU, but the HBCUs don't have the programs. Wrong. We got you covered now. We got women's lacrosse at Delaware State. We have men's and women's soccer at Howard University. We've got wrestling back at Morgan State. God, I hope HBCUs bring wrestling back. That would be awesome. We hockey at Tennessee State. There's so much for Black kids to offer that don't play football and basketball, where they can still thrive in an HBCU environment and community. So this feels like a great fit. I mean, everybody's looking at, the location, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, but there aren't that many HBCUs above the Sun Belt in the first place. So, but then again, you have the Nashville Predators, who have been successful in Nashville, Tennessee for a quarter century. So this feels like a natural fit. Once again, if they get on board, and Tennessee State's already made a great men's hockey coach hire, hopefully they do the same for the women, and we'll see how it goes. But I feel like, once they hit the ice, whenever that is, we'll be excited to see it, and it'll be, it'll bear fruit.
Yeah, and just going back to last spring around this time at the Frozen Four, the director of College Hockey Inc. mentioned that the NHL and College Hockey Inc., they were positioning themselves to try to move forward with having an HBCU hockey team somewhere, maybe not Tennessee State, but somewhere. That was an initiative, and it actually happened with Tennessee State having their hockey team. They're in a market where hockey's hot. They support the sport there with the Nashville Predators. Nashville Predators have actually also kind of spearheaded this effort to get hockey at Tennessee State too. So they definitely have a partner in them, at least, to keep the program going. Now it's up to the coaching staff and the school to try to acquire the recruits and to try to acquire the resources to help this program not only be successful, but have longevity, which this school is wading into unfamiliar territory. They're having a hockey team. So, this is going to be exciting times around the university, and we all hope that it goes well. The thing that we are kind of skeptical about, will the Tennessee State community support it? Because this is a brand new sport for HBCUs. And Chris, you and I watch a lot of hockey, and we don't see a lot of us out there, not only on the ice, but in the stands. So do you think the folks in Tennessee State and Nashville will get behind a Black college hockey team?
Well, Tennessee State strikes me as they may not be an HBCU Ivy, but they definitely are one of the HBCUs that we know. I knew about Tennessee State when I was 16 years old. I actually dreamed one day when I was a kid that I was going to drive down to Nashville and attend Tennessee State. Of course, that never happened. I ended up just 45 minutes down the road from Wilmington, Delaware, at Dover State University. Eternally grateful, though. Love my alma mater. But I feel like if Tennessee, if you build it, they will come. To use the old Field of Dreams expression. And if you put a successful product out there, no matter what it is, one thing that people are going to learn about Gen Z and Gen Alpha is they go up for each other. They believe in community. Like I watched the first lacrosse doubleheader Virginia State had, and it was cold. You can see it was cold in Petersburg because there were people with triple goose coats on, whatever they call them, those big behind winter coats. It was still cold, but there were people in the stands cheering their butts off. And whenever UDC got a penalty, or they would say, "You can't do that." And whenever Virginia State scored a goal, they went crazy. So I mean, if you put something out there that where the kids can support their friends, their classmates, they're going to do it. If it's successful. I mean, granted, Delaware State had its best attendance record for basketball in probably 10, 12, 13 years, because the men's basketball team was actually decent this year, and the women were much better. So if you give these kids a reason, if you have kids that look like them, have kids that will help you do the work as well. That's very important, because that's what it's going to take for Tennessee State. It's going to take whenever these hockey recruits get to Nashville and say, "Yo, we got this hockey team, you should come support us. Yeah, it's going to be cold. You're going to have to put on a coat, and a hat or whatever, but we're going to make it worth your while." If they do that, then yes, I think Tennessee State hockey can be successful and it can be supported by the Tennessee State community.
Yeah, Edwin brings up the better question is, will the Nashville hockey community support once it becomes a team in the athletic department?
Well, they don't have any competition. I mean, it's not like Vanderbilt's going to start a hockey team by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Belmont is either. So, I mean, the Predators, they've had PK Subban. He was like their best player when they made the Stanley Cup Finals. And what was that, 2017, 2018, one of those years. He was their main guy. So they've seen a black hockey player before. I mean, the black hockey team might be a little different, but I still feel like they can, I feel like they'll support, because it's Nashville, and it's a community thing. I mean, down south, in the South, the community really, really matters. Well, it's not cold in the stands, but I can tell you from firsthand experience when I covered high school hockey in Maryland. Boy, man, I'll never forget the first time I walked into a rink. I took off my jacket, and I immediately thought that was a bad idea. So I slapped the jacket back on, and the high schools that I was covering, they were laughing at me. They were like, "You've never been here before." Like, "No, I haven't. I didn't know it was this cold in here." But yeah, sometimes, maybe it's not cold, in the stands, but it's better to be safe than sorry in that regard.
That's why hockey players wear sweaters and not jerseys.
Yes, please. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a hockey terminology thing for y'all. Just to help foster the process along, because I've been watching hockey since I was 12 years old, and my favorite hockey team has 3 Stanley Cups. Not to brag. Yeah, so
mine does too. So
okay, all right. Yeah, the Blackhawks got 3, the Avalanche got 3. So you got 6 Stanley Cup, championship fans here. So we know a little bit about this. So we can, get you guys acclimated. But yeah, I feel like Tennessee State will be fine. It's just gonna take some time, building the program, getting the kids that want to play. And I don't think it's going to be hard, because black hockey players, they need a community, because some of those Canadian folks are weird, man. Like we've seen it over the years, that there have been different allegations and scandals of bullying and, sexual assault and all of that. And it's like, and racism, obviously.
It's obviously racism, yeah.
Yeah, let's not leave that out. So I feel like black hockey players will look at Tennessee State, young black hockey players look at Tennessee State and say, "Wow, this is a way that I can further my career and be around my own people." So yeah. Only problem is, it's wear it thin. So whenever the NHL and, the Frozen Four president, whoever they decide to pick next for hockey, they need to pick it quick. So Tennessee State isn't just out there on the island.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be on the island for a while. I mean, they're going to be a new program, number one. Number two, they're going to be an all-black, well, maybe not an all-black hockey team because you know how recruiting kind of goes, but
Yes.
they're gonna carry the label of an HBCU no matter where they go. So it's definitely going to be some new experiences for them. Over my shoulder, I have a hockey helmet here. I'll tell you the story behind that.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, I ordered a baseball glove from this website that kind of sells secondhand sports equipment, and they sent me, instead of a baseball glove, a hockey helmet, and I've kept it ever since. I've kept it ever since. It's got like no team on it. It's got like no label on it. It's just a plain green hockey helmet.
It's green. Maybe it used to belong to a Dallas Star or a member of the Minnesota Wild. Who knows?
Yeah, I know a helmet that belongs to Mike Madonna somewhere. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah, and sticking with Tennessee State for our last topic tonight. It just dropped today. So apparently Tennessee State is going to keep adding sports. Apparently, today it was announced they're going to add baseball. They're going to bring back baseball. The school hasn't had baseball since 1993. The program went away during that time because of funding issues, but Mickey Allen and Glenda Glover, they are on a path to expand as many sports as possible, and baseball's the next one. I'm excited about this, being a baseball guy, and I know there's a lot of great baseball fans in Nashville. Nashville has been identified as one city that could be primed for MLB expansion. I know Chicago White Sox a few years ago, their owner Jerry Reinsdorf had a conversation with Nashville city officials with the thought of moving the White Sox there. The way they are playing this season, that might not be a bad idea to get them out of Chicago. The worst record with the worst record in baseball right now. But I wouldn't know if Nashville would want them. But yeah, so baseball is coming back to Tennessee State. It's a good thing, and I do know that Eddie George, his first year at Tennessee State, he actually recommended that Tennessee State actually move forward to build a baseball stadium on campus with the hope of attracting a pro team. Well, they're gonna have a baseball stadium now for its college team. So, Chris, your thoughts on baseball coming back to Tennessee State?
I love baseball too. Believe you me. And I feel like that's the sport that if there's any sport that Black people need to reclaim, it is absolutely baseball. Like participation in baseball in Black kids is the lowest it's ever been, and that to me speaks to resources and access. Because while the RBI program is doing great things, it's still just going to take time to take hold in certain communities. And with MLB, looking at Nashville as a possible expansion site, this is a great chance for Tennessee State to partner up with the group that if they get a team, the ownership group that gets a team in Nashville, to pull their resources together, say, hey, we have this great university here in Nashville. No, we're not Vanderbilt, not Baylor. I mean, not Baylor, Benedict. Not Benedict. Belmont. One of them B's.
One of the B schools, yeah.
One of the B schools. We're not Belmont. We're not Vanderbilt, but we're still worth your while. We have great athletic tradition. You can look at people like Wilma Rudolph, Dick Barnett, all these different type of professional athletes that we have had, Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, all these tremendous professional athletes that we have turned out. Why not give us a chance to do so with baseball? And baseball is a sport where Black people in Black colleges have had great success. Florida A&M has a Hall of Famer, and Andre Dawson. They have a guy who was really good, not Hall of Fame, but Hall of Very Good, and Marquise Grissom, who was the center fielder when the Braves won their first World Series in '95. Lou Brock, the late Lou Brock, he went to Southern. There's so many different.
Ricky Weeks was number 2 overall pick in the draft in like 2003, I believe it was.
Him and another guy from Southern who was drafted in 1975 are the only 2 HBCU athletes to go in the top 5 in the common era of the baseball draft. And Southern has the distinction of both of those guys. And so there's talent at HBCUs. One of my favorite Phillies of all time, Milt Thompson, he went to Howard. So, there's something there. There's something there for HBCU and black baseball in general. We just need to do a better job of bringing kids back into the sport, because not every kid is going to play football. Not every kid is going to be a 7-footer on the basketball court. So we got to start steering these kids towards sports that they can succeed in and go to college and potentially be pro, or at least, if nothing else, get their education partly paid for. I'm a firm believer in this. I tell kids this all the time, because I cover high school basketball in Dover. I tell kids this all the time. If you can get somebody to pay for 65% of your education, you're doing okay, no matter what that is. So if it doesn't matter if it's Division I, Division II, NAIA, if somebody's paying for part of your education, you are winning the game of life. And that should be your main objective. Don't look at the name of a school. Don't look at the brand. Look at, number one, will I play? And number two, how much are they willing to pay for me to go to school there? And I feel like if HBCUs sort of use that to their advantage in sports like baseball, ice hockey, lacrosse, soccer, volleyball, and football and basketball still, you get those kids that are like, okay, I can turn this into something. If they, I'm not going to sit here and be one of these old, you darn kids, get off my lawn. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say these kids don't want to work. That's not what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say that they are a rarer breed. But if you can identify those kids that don't mind putting in a little muscle behind the hustle, then things will go well. So, yeah, I feel like baseball coming back to Tennessee State is great, and that's a sport that we absolutely need to reclaim.
Yeah, agree 100%. Like, I was reading the stat the other day that said currently at the Division I level, only 4% of all baseball players identify as black. And most of those, I would imagine, play for HBCUs. So outside of the black college world, little to no black baseball players are out there, at least at the Division I level. Now, it's more go to Division II level, NAIA level, junior college level, of course. But like the upper echelon, not a lot of participation. And a lot of that is to do with like scholarships, because baseball doesn't have full scholarships like other sports do. The limited scholarships they have as well plays a role in it too. And just like the attraction of other sports, the expense of it to play baseball, because nowadays got a lot of kids who they think the only way they can play baseball in college or even go pro is to play travel ball. And like, that's very expensive to play travel ball.
Yes.
And like a lot of our kids aren't doing that. But there are programs out there that Chris mentioned, RBI. I know a minority baseball prospects is a group that started several years ago that's really trying to get more black kids to play baseball. They actually have an HBCU baseball all-star game, which is happening in Atlanta this summer. I know Major League Baseball has got behind a black college all-star game as well, spearheaded by Kendrick Jr., my baseball hero growing up. So yeah, like there are some little bit of headways being made to get more black kids to play baseball, not just at the college level, but just anywhere at all. I mean, because like I used to mention before, like Chris, like the numbers are low. Even in Major League Baseball level, the numbers are like under 10% of American-born black players in the game. I know we just had Jackie Robinson Day. What was it, like a week ago or so ago?
Yeah.
Like, look at some of these rosters, like not a lot of black faces on these Major League Baseball teams. So let's hoping Tennessee State, by bringing back baseball, can revive the sport there, and hopefully more schools who don't have baseball will be inspired to bring it back. I know the MEAC just dissolved baseball in their conference. A lot of those schools that were in the conference or other places now playing baseball. So we got to hope that baseball is once again more valued in the HBCU space, especially the Division I level. Yeah, so we have an abbreviated show tonight, but we thanks Kelvin Dean Jr. from Florida A&M stopping by and talking to us about the football team and his high hopes for the season. We did rehash Tennessee State's situations with them hiring a hockey coach, as well as them today announcing they're going to bring back baseball. I was excited about that. Chris, thanks for stopping by after your 3-mile walk to provide really great insight, as always.
Y'all, let me tell y'all, man. When Kendrick sent the link, I literally was just pulling into the door, and this handsome face is really, TV ready now. But I was sweating like a stuck pig when I came in the house and Kendrick dropped that link. I was like, man, I need 10 minutes to cool off. So I, cooled off real quick, got myself, freshened up and ready. And here for y'all, man. This is what we do here at HBCU Sports. No matter what, we make time for y'all to talk about the latest and greatest in HBCU sports, and we will continue to do so.
Yes. I had to scarf down my post-workout dinner. I'm still wearing my workout shirt I had at the gym maybe an hour ago. So this is the best I'm gonna look as far as this show goes tonight. Yeah, but thanks as always, folks, for watching and listening and commenting. We thank you so much. Be sure to follow our content on social media platforms, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we're on TikTok now. Kim Rashad's posting TikTok, so be on the lookout for that. Also, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can get more videos like this when they drop. Folks, we will see you guys next time.